It makes you a bad person if you are in a position of power and you don't want art to reflect the global community. It helps maintain the patriarchy and misogyny and racism and sexism and homophobia.
When I was growing up in Hollywood, it was very difficult as a woman of color to see myself on screen.
Black, Asian, Latino, indigenous people, disabled people, people in the LGBTQ+ community. There was so little representation that you could count all of us, all the marginalized folks, on your hands.
So often it was a very stereotypical depiction of a Latina. They feel very comfortable with a leading lady being 25 years younger than her male lead co-star. And women need to be saved or rescued, and usually it's by that guy, and then her whole life is complete now. That is a really comfortable storyline that Hollywood wants to continue to reinforce.
It helps maintain the patriarchy and misogyny and racism and sexism and homophobia.
So I think Hollywood, when it's seen through the eyes of a man, could, and certainly women, when you are seen through the eyes of a man, you lose a lot of nuance and a lot of flavor and a lot of the things that makes us who we are.
People will not let power go easily, and it's a lot easier to maintain the status quo and keep cis white men in positions of power by distorting the images of marginalized folks. It makes you a bad person if you are in a position of power and you don't want art to reflect the global community. It makes you a bad person. It also makes you a terrible business person to not want to allow people to see themselves reflected. It's a great business model. If you don't want to do it for the right reasons, do it because it's actually good business. Diversity and inclusion is actually good for business, and I think there has been a broken business model and a broken moral model for far too long, and we're going to do our part to change that.
Younger generation, millennials and Gen Z, everyone says, oh, they're just on their devices and they're not going to movies anymore. And that's why box office numbers are down globally. But actually, you put any person of color in the movie, you're telling a real story with real characters, they show up every time.
Look at Fast and Furious. All of those movies star people from around the world, and magically people keep coming. I mean, it's fast cars. So people come. As long as if you embrace diversity, it's a great business model. And so what we want to create as women in power, as two women of color in power, is a world that actually reflects the global community that we are trying to market our art to.
I think what's so great about what we're doing with this show as executive producers and as leaders now who have been successful in Hollywood, for so long, is that we can create the change we want to see.
I think we are a better, more high-functioning, sympathetic, compassionate world when everyone truly has a seat at the table, and in this industry, that means in front of and behind the camera. Our art truly represents the world.